This video is being uploaded with the consent of the owner of this YouTube channel, political prisoner Bryce Matthew Queller, who is currently incarcerated for exercising his freedom of speech. There is nothing more intimidating to a satanic system than faithful Christians coming together to speak with one voice demanding justice.
How's it going, Jet?
Good, how are you?
You got the gun for?
Why I got the gun? What you got the gun for?
Because I'm authorized.
Alright, well, I'm authorized to
Get down on the ground.
Get on the ground.
Get down on the ground.
You're going to have to shoot me, man.
Peace and blessings, everyone. It's Tuesday, January the 2nd, the year 2018. The prior video clip that you just saw is a videotaped recording of Jeffrey Weinhaus being shot at by the Missouri State Troopers 6 times. 2 .40 caliber hollow point bullets bounced off his head. 2 bullets went through his chest. When Sergeant Henry Folsom recounted the event later, he said it was eerie when Jeffrey Weinhaus sat up on the gurney as they were carrying him to the ambulance. It was not eerie, it was the hand of God saving the life of Jeffrey Weinhaus, because he is not done with Jeffrey Weinhaus yet. Jeffrey Weinhaus is a strong Christian brother in the Lord, and I have received a 5-page letter from him from the Eastern Reception Diagnostic and Correctional Center in Missouri. Jeffrey Weinhaus has spent 1,888 days in jail, in prison, for a crime he could not have committed and did not commit, simply because he was running for political office and exposing corruption within his community. I pray as you listen to this 5-page letter that you will help disseminate it to everyone that you know, and that it will land upon the ears of someone who can take action to bring about the freedom for Jeffrey Weinhaus. But more importantly, even than that, is to lift up Jeffrey Weinhaus in your prayers. And if you would like to write him a letter and ask him any question you have about his case, I can honestly say that Jeffrey Weinhaus is one of the, if not the most transparent men I have ever communicated with. With no further ado, here is a letter, open letter, to Josh Hawley, who is the Missouri Attorney General, from Jeffrey Weinhaus, who has been sitting in prison for 1,888 days and currently has a release date. Jeffrey Weinhaus currently has a release date of November the 1st, 2042. Now, I'm not willing to sit by and let those days pass by without speaking up, and I pray you're not as well. But here is the letter that I received from Jeffrey Weinhaus. And let me also say one last thing before I get started on the letter. There are many people that have been out here supporting Jeffrey Weinhaus. One of them to call out in particular is a man by the name of Gavin Syme, S-E-I-M. I believe he's got a website. Let me just double check it. I think it's called callmegav.com. Let me just double check that. Yes, callmegav.com. Gavin Syme has been a very outspoken man, a liberty speaker, liberty advocate for Jeffrey Weinhaus. Gavin Syme himself has been targeted with 3 felonies, and he has taken his family to Mexico, as he will not play games with this corrupt judicial system that we now find ourselves under in the United States of America. All right, before I get started on Jeffrey Weinhaus's letter, I wanted to read you a response I received back from Josh Hawley when I attempted to notify Josh Hawley about the injustice in the Jeffrey Weinhaus case. So the first paragraph is Josh Hawley responding back to a letter that I wrote to him. From Mr. Hawley: thank you for writing and sharing your views on Jeff Weinhaus case. I understand many individuals may have strong feelings about this case. The responsibility of my office in all cases is to see that justice is done. We recognize the complexity of the legal and factual issues raised in this case and will take the concerns you have expressed into consideration as we move forward through the process. Josh Hawley signed this letter, penned this letter to me on 7/19/2017 at 6:18 p.m. Central Daylight Time. I then forwarded that response from Mr. Josh Hawley to Jeffrey Weinhaus, whereupon Jeffrey Weinhaus has penned a 5-page letter, open letter, public letter, back to Mr. Josh Hawley. That letter can be found in its entirety on yearofjubilee.com. Jubilee is spelled with one E. There is a Jeffrey Weinhaus page. Just look for the name Josh Hawley, Hawley. Jeffrey Weinhaus penned this 5-page letter on December the 22nd, 2017. From Jeffrey Weinhaus. So your office is concerned about justice? Really? Then why am I spending my 5th Christmas in prison? Upon your election, I had such great hopes for you and yours. I really believed that God allowed you to be put into that office for His divine purpose and plan. Though less than a year after you swore your oath to first and foremost God Almighty, all caps, and He isn't a corporation, and to the Constitution, to see that justice is done. Do I need to define justice for you? Is it that complex in my matter? The bottom line is real simple. Who was the one that was shot 4 times, twice to the head and twice to the chest? Who was the one lured into an ambush by a ruse, a lie? Who was the one who has suffered provable personal injury, loss, and harm? Not only on 9/11/2012, but over the last 1,888 days. Page 2. Mr. Attorney General, why is the victim in prison and the criminal walks free? Is that the justice you write of in your email to my friend Rudy Davis? Is that what your book says? My book, the Holy Bible, King James Version, says, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Isaiah 5:20. Meet the new boss the same as the old boss? I expected no justice from Mr. Costner and Governor Nixon. They are the ones who ordered the attempt on my life. Franklin County District Attorney Bob Parks let that fact slip in open court at one of my bond hearings. Of course, that did not surprise me. I too am from Jefferson County and had exposed Governor Nixon since the year 1998. Attorney General Costner's ex-wife contacted me about Chris's sexual fetishes and the rampant sexual misconduct throughout Missouri government, including but of course not limited to pedophilia, parenthesis SIC, or should I say sick, SICK. In light of all that has transpired over the last 6 months, I really do not think she was that crazy after all. We all know that saying that you are either part of the problem or part of the solution. The fact that your office has elected to fight against my freedom makes you the former, not the latter, which is such a shame, though we all know in this day and age there is no shame. Page 3. I've been told that over 3,500 local, state, and federal officials are about to be arrested by the military. Of course, you would know better than I, though in light of Pizzagate and the fall of Weinstein, Al Franken, Charlie Rose, Matt Lauer, and dozens of others, you can see the writing on the wall. Josh, you need to read a book, The Franklin Cover-Up, by a former Nebraska State Senator John DeCamp. You can bet your Senate seat that SRA, satanic ritual abuse, is going on all across America. As you know, the great thing about being the top cop is that you are accountable to no one in state government. The fourth estate, mainstream media, is beyond corrupt, bought and paid for. Bought and paid for souls sold to Satan down at the crossroads. If you get a rogue reporter to speak out, All you have to do is send the troopers to steal his printing press. Then you use the covers to lure him into... Sorry, give me just 1 second. Oh, courts, sorry. Let me read that again. The word was a bit hard to read. If you get a rogue reporter to speak out, all you have to do is send the troopers to steal his printing press. Then you use the courts to lure him into an ambush based on a ruse. Open parenthesis, a lie if you are not a cop. Shoot at him 6 times in broad daylight in the middle of a gas station parking lot with customers all around. When the kill shots fail to kill him, all you have to do is charge him with the exact same thing that happened to him, attempted murder. Never mind, the trooper story is proven to be a lie within 6 hours of the shooting. Page 4. The trooper's initial report, walkthrough on September the 11th, 2012, taken on the scene of the shooting, claimed 2 things that were not on the audio tape that the Highway Patrol had in their possession by sunset. Number 1, Trooper Sergeant Henry Folsom claimed that he made a statement about papers to sign. And number 2, and most telling, he commanded me to remove my hand off the gun. At trial, the papers lie turned about to role-playing with his partner, and he did not have time to command me to remove my hand off the gun. The FBI reports make no mention of a gun on my right hip, nor any attempt to draw. They are removed from the Let me read that again. The FBI reports, keep in mind there were 2 FBI gentlemen who were also at the scene of the shooting, and they should have been called as witnesses to testify what they saw, because they testified in their depositions that they did not see Jeffrey pulling a gun. But Jeffrey writes, the FBI reports make no mention of a gun on my right hip, nor any attempt to draw. They are removed from the district attorney witness list after the depots confirm their reports taken on September the 11th, 2012. Of course, my incompetent lawyer didn't bother to call them at my trial. Oh, never mind the original search warrant on August the 22nd, 2012 was in violation of RSMO 043.200. Though we all know in this day and age of no shame equals justice under the law is just a slogan on the facade of the U.S. Supreme Court temple in D.C. From what I understand, the crux of your case to keep me out of circulation is that I'm out of time. Keep in mind, Jeffrey has put forward an appeal, and they're trying to stop his appeal from going forward by saying that he didn't file some paperwork in time. So therefore he has to spend the next 30-something years in prison. Jeffrey goes on to write, I've got good gospel news for you. We are all about out of time. Jesus is coming soon. Time is short, and as always is of the essence. It is, of course, the only commodity that cannot be replaced. In 2018, will it be justice for all or just us? 9/11ers. Jeffrey R. Bulletin Man Weinhaus. There's a page 5 here, and I'm going to read it, but I did want to inject one bit of commentary that I feel you guys need to know about. When Jeffrey was in trial, they put a shock collar on his leg. And if he said anything that they considered out of line, the warning on the shock collar said it's so strong, I forget if it was 80,000 volts or 20,000 volts, but the warning on the shock collar said it's so strong it can cause you to pee and defecate yourself. That's how they treated Jeffrey Weinhaus during his trial. Now, if that sounds like I'm exaggerating, I'm asking you to go look it up yourself. It's a documented fact. Here's page 5 of Jeffrey Weinhaus's letter, open letter to Missouri Attorney General Josh Hawley. Postscript. Josh, I should be dead. Not many make it when 240 caliber hollow points hit their chest, fired at point blank range. Top that off with 2 to the head, one in the temple and one to the base of the skull. Only a fool could not see that something supernatural is going on. Let's not forget that the shooting is caught on tape for all the world to see. Over 500,000 views on Facebook and 250,000 views on YouTube. The hand of God, you bet. And now I say unto you, refrain from these men and let them alone. For if this counsel or if this work be of men, it will come to naught. But if it be of God, ye cannot overthrow it. Lest haply ye be found even to fight against God. Acts 5:38 and 39 in the King James Version. You might also consider the still shot at 1/29th of a second, which reflects the holster on my left hip. I'll be uploading the photo that he's referring to on the screen at this time. Your star witnesses claim my holster is on my right side. Between both of them, they make over 50 lies, errors, and omissions. This life is but a test. What we do here sets the stage for the next one, the one that never ends. God gives us a choice. You can choose life and truth or death and lies. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live. Deuteronomy 30:19. I have chosen life, and I and my seed live. What will you do? The law is a curse. The last word in the Old Testament is curse. Blessing or curse, my friend. The choice is yours. I pray that you will help me get this letter to Josh Hawley. I pray it pricks Josh Hawley's heart to do what's right by Jeffrey Weinhaus. Jeffrey Weinhaus needs to be with his children and with his family. He's got a wonderful wife and kid that love him. Wife and kids that love him. And I pray that you remember the two greatest commandments in the whole Bible. To love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, understanding, and strength. And the second greatest commandment is to love your neighbor as yourself. Hebrews 13:3 tells us to remember our brothers in bonds as if they were ourselves. Please don't forget our political prisoners such as Jeffrey Weinhaus. And if you have any questions about his case, I know that he would be glad to answer them. His address, his mailing address for the Missouri prison that he has been in is on yearofjubilee.com. That's Jubilee spelled with one E. And you can also go to his main website, freebulletinman.com or freejeffnow.com. Thank you for your time and your prayers.